do is start with the green table in the back. So if you can elect your spokesperson, and I'll just wait to get the word that the mic is live. It's live. Go ahead, Alan. No, right there.
I didn't know what this was. I'm going to make this quick. First question, no.
All right. Can we give Alan our attention, please?
All right. All right, first question. Is there any doubt we have a water quality issue in Harwich? It says no. No fight. Question two. Do you want the town to deal with this wastewater program and schedule, or a third-party regulator to mandate it for the town? It says yes. What are you guys doing? Huh? What have you done to me? Question three, would you be willing to partner with the abutting neighboring communities to work towards a solution and save money? Yes. List the top 5 major impacts that could happen if we do nothing. Lawsuits, consent orders, economic failure, environmental failure, shellfish, ponds, contaminated, expensive cleanup, and the aesthetics, and yeah, it's a big hit. So it's already there. I tell you, being born and raised here, I can tell you the water's dirty. It's taken a long time, but it's going to take us a long time to clean it up. And question 5, do you support economic growth and development to help support and implement the wastewater infrastructure planning and to help mitigate costs? Smart growth with a wastewater to support. That's where we came from on that. And what is the best way to engage citizens in wastewater planning and implementation? Well, we're saying a public outreach specialist, someone that has the abilities to get out there and, we beat this around, 4 years, I think? Yeah, 4, 5, goes way back. And a strategic outreach, something that we could keep people in the program, want to know about it instead of just picking segments of it and say, pick at it to turn it down. But generally speaking, this is probably the toughest question of all, and to get the facts out, get the right facts out, and have them come out and say, yeah, let's vote for it, So that's where the green table went.
Thank you, Alan. And I think I'll go to the pink table, and what I would ask each subsequent speaker to do is, in the interest of time, if you could just highlight, if you agree with prior speakers, just acknowledge that, and then highlight whatever differences or new information you may have come up with that hasn't already been done. So, sir?
Dana DaCosta, Harwich Finance Committee, pink table. Great table. We did agree that no doubt that there is a problem, but we need to bring it to the next level. We need to stop asking big general questions and getting big general answers. We need to start getting specific on this problem and start addressing it specifically. We agreed that the town should be taking care of this and not waiting for a third party. We agree on question 3, would you be willing to partner with abutting towns? We did say yes. Pollution has no borders. But we also wanted to know, and maybe we get help from the Cape Cod Commission on this, what happens when 2 towns have a falling out, like you can have on regional school systems or like you can have on other kind of partnerships. A 99-year agreement doesn't always mean that it's going to last forever. It's only going to last for 99 years. So we have to at least know that if you're entering an agreement that it's ironclad. 5 major impacts. We agree with the green table on most of the problems that can come from this. when we talked about economic growth, we talked about some of the other problems we're having in Harwich with affordable housing and things like that. So our growth really has to be managed against those kind of issues as well. Our water quality is the biggest underground problem we have, but on the ground we have a problem with affordable housing. And we're losing people to that already. So we don't have to wait for our water to go bad to scare everybody out of town. We're losing those people right now because we don't have affordable housing. So we have to manage our growth in a positive way, independent on what we're doing with sewering. That was our biggest difference there. Best way to reach out to citizens, we need to branch out to other forums and groups. This was a pretty well advertised thing. We all have to be here as required to be here, but there wasn't that many, and there's one person in the audience now. Stand up, take a block. There's not that many people here. Okay, oh, he has to be here. You kicked him out of your group, that's terrible. So we got to start reaching out to other forums besides government entities and so forth, and really go to them, not wait for them to come to us. And we need to start with our kids. We had good input from schools in our tables. So, that's all the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Blue table. Or, no, I'm sorry. Yellow table.
Ed McManus, yellow table. I doubt that we have a water quality issue. No, for the people at our table. Although there is possibly up to a 50% of the general population may still have doubts, and that's the rub of what we have to deal with. Do you want to deal with wastewater program locally or by third-party regular, retain control by the town? Would you be willing to partner with an abutting neighboring communities? Yes, and we already are with Chatham. So with that, those sorts of partnering should continue and be expanded with other communities. List the five top major impacts, pretty much similar as has been mentioned, except I'm not sure if of doing nothing is essentially the limits and restrictions on growth issues. Do you support economic growth and development to help support and implement the wastewater infrastructure planning to help mitigate costs? Yes, depending on the type and impact of the development. Also, there's an interplay about some of the types of economic growth and development, smart growth, that is sort of only possible with the implementation of wastewater treatment systems. So it's sort of hand in hand. What are the best ways to engage citizens in wastewater planning and implementation? The first thing we identified was the education in the schools, getting our kids involved in it. They tend to bring it home and teach their parents and grandparents. And the second most useful way of getting people to engage and learn about what's being proposed is actually to propose a tax and a tax rate, because basically people tend to pay attention when money is on the table. And after 30-odd years as a local elected official, I've learned that lesson again and again.
Thank you. Blue table, please.
They said I had to wear it. Isn't that appropriate? Okay, Group W here. We pretty much ignored questions 1, 2, and 3 because we thought they were the wrong questions for this group. I mean, I think Ed said it best, probably half the town doesn't think we have a problem. So it's kind of the wrong question. So 1, 2, and 3 we ignored. I'm telling you, we don't color in the lines in this group. Question 4, list the top 5 major impacts. We said that the major impacts are going to be property valuation, the environmental impacts, loss of economic development in terms of, adversely impacting the image of the town, which impacts tourism, which impacts business development, which impacts all of us. And we said that it was the lawsuits that could happen, the enforcement orders, enforcement actions by EPA, the litigation costs, and then we lose our destiny. We lose control of costs. We lose control of timing. We lose control of the decisions, and we lose control of the technical side of the equation. So we lose control of our destiny if we don't do anything. We then also skip 5. And number 6, what is the best way to engage citizens? We had basically 2 things to say. One is, stop talking about the past. We have a CWMP. We're going forward. Who cares what happened over the past 10 years? How many 27,000 wastewater analyses we did of any river? Go forward. We also said bite-sized pieces, and to make it really clear what will happen if we do nothing. What are the consequences? Second piece is, we believe that we need one specific group that will champion this and will drive getting out to all these other groups, drive getting out to the schools, getting out to church groups, getting out to anybody, getting out to a bar room and sitting there and talking to people while you're having a beer. But there has to be a champion group. It cannot just be, we are all going to talk to everybody. There's got to be some defined champion. I know we have money in the budget. Where's Chris? Thank you. That we have money in the budget, if it passes town meeting, to actually get some of that work done, to try to pull that stuff together. But it's got to be in smaller pieces, where we're going, and a champion group.
Thank you. And then finally, the peach table.
Terry Russell, Monomoy School Committee. Everyone at table, once we cleared up the first, said no, there's no doubt that, at least in this room, that there is an issue. Secondly, we agreed also that this party called Township is the one to get this issue off the ground and run with it. We have no problem at all at table to partner with the budding neighbors. Clearly, as Ed said, we're already underway with Chatham. List the 5 major impacts. I think everyone mentioned it. Degrading the costly issue as it continues to go if doing nothing. Increase in cost in the future. It negates the positive impact on tourism. Second, homeowners. The table felt that correct economic growth is the yes answer to go with that. And the last one was the best way to engage citizens. I'm new to this whole experience here tonight. I was impressed with the PowerPoint guys and women. Great job. The thought struck us that, and it was already been mentioned, one might be get this information out by village. So you get kind of like a political campaign, like village captains. And this founding committee contacts West Harwich folks and East Harwich, North Harwich. And in the next year and a half, you capsulize this PowerPoint with a village meeting of, say, 2 or 3 captains, and they in turn get neighborhood communities at a home or a small setting, and you reinforce what's just been said on these 4 or 5 questions. So over the course of a year, you've got a power base and advocates within the villages, and they have common things. So, like, say, West Harwich might not necessarily be Seward, but the West Harwich folks would have other ways to address what they see their need. At the same time, this captain, through the group, this committee, would be getting this information out, and so you raise the knowledge base. Local schools, I think, is a great, issue, especially with the time with Chatham, right from kindergarten, where we had a great experience with our Monomoy Regional High School peer leaders when they addressed this issue of opiates, drugs and usage and sex activity. It's a lot better conversation than wastewater. And the kids did a great job. Courage and candidness. The last thing on that is utilize Channel 18. Have like an open forum Q&A with some people who, like the folks up front, were able to get yes and clear answers to the community over the next year or two. And I might just expand that base. Linda said 3 or 4 times in a row, we'd lose control, we'd lose control. When you're talking about waste, especially adults, that's not a good thing when you see ourselves losing that control. So on that, good night, everybody, and thanks for coming.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming, and I think you all deserve your own round of applause. So, and what I would ask is if you could give your summary sheets to Charlene, and then she can compile them, and that can all be incorporated into a plan moving forward. So again, on behalf of all the people on the panel and yourselves, thank you very much for coming out.